Hello everyone, in this video we'll discuss about development of inferior vena cava. Now at 5th week of intrauterine life, within the embryo there develops 6 veins, namely 2 common cardinal veins, 2 vitelline veins and 2 umbilical veins. Now very obviously the umbilical veins are carrying oxygenated blood from placenta to the right and left horn of sinus venosus. So this is sinus venosus and this is its right horn, this is its left horn. So this is right umbilical vein, this is left umbilical vein. Now these two are vitelline veins, right and left. Initially they carry poorly oxygenated blood from the yolk sac, and once the yolk sac disappears they carry poorly oxygenated blood from the developing gut. Now this is septum transversum. So these 4 veins will pass through developing septum transversum, whereas these 2 common cardinal veins, they open respectively into right and left horn of sinus venosus. The common cardinal veins, they are formed by fusion of anterior and posterior cardinal veins. So this is right anterior and posterior cardinal vein, this one is left anterior and posterior cardinal veins. Now these cardinal veins will be carrying poorly oxygenated blood from the body of embryo. So the cardinal veins will carry poorly oxygenated blood from body of embryo. The vitelline veins will carry poorly oxygenated blood from yolk sac initially and then from developing gut, whereas these umbilical veins will carry well oxygenated blood from placenta to right and left horn of sinus venosus. Now once the septum transversum develops and once the liver starts developing in septum transversum, the right umbilical vein will disappear. Similarly, the portion of vitelline veins within the septum transversum, this portion of the vitelline veins will disintegrate and that forms hepatic sinusoids, whereas these remaining vitelline veins will take part in formation of portal vein, whereas this portion of the vitelline veins between septum transversum and sinus venosus, now these 2 veins will form right and left hepatocardiac channels. Out of this, the left hepatocardiac channel will disappear, whereas this right hepatocardiac channel, that channel connects developing liver to the developing heart. That's why it is termed as hepatocardiac channel. This portion is also termed as primitive inferior vena cava. So this is also contributing in formation of definitive vena cava. So this is the right hepatocardiac channel. Now at present in development of definitive inferior vena cava, what we are concerned is these posterior cardinal veins, or particularly the cardinal veins. So what you need to remember at present is this right hepatocardiac channel that will also contribute partly in formation of definitive inferior vena cava. So let's just remove the central portion of the diagram, and now what we have are the cardinal veins, right and left common cardinal vein plus right and left anterior and posterior cardinal veins. Now let's just see the sequence of events taking place particularly in posterior cardinal vein, and that will help in understanding of development of definitive inferior vena cava. So in posterior cardinal veins there develops an anastomosis connecting these 2, plus these 2 posterior cardinal veins will also communicate with developing external iliac vein and internal iliac vein on both the sides. Okay. Next occurs our development of subcardinal veins. Now these are the communicating channels to the posterior cardinal veins at cranially and caudally, and these subcardinal veins initially carry blood from developing kidneys. Later on, this subcardinal vein will also unite in the central part, so that is termed as anastomosis between this subcardinal vein, plus particularly the right subcardinal vein near its cranial end will show another anastomosis with right hepatocardiac channel. Now we know what is right hepatocardiac channel, that is a portion of right vitelline vein extending from developing liver to right horn of sinus venosus. So initially this right hepatocardiac channel opens into right horn of sinus venosus. Next occurs is development of supracardinal veins, right and left. Now this will also similar like subcardinal vein, they also communicate with posterior cardinal vein cranially and caudally. See over here. Now they initially carry blood from intercostal spaces. Next occurs is the communication or anastomosis between caudal ends of supracardinal vein and subcardinal vein. See over here. So this is a communicating channel or anastomosis between subcardinal vein and supracardinal vein near their caudal ends. So these are the sequence of events particularly taking place in relation to posterior cardinal vein in process of development of definitive inferior vena cava. Let's quickly summarize. So initially there are right and left common cardinal veins, anterior and posterior cardinal veins. Then there occurs an anastomosis between caudal ends of two posterior cardinal veins. Additionally, these posterior cardinal veins at their caudal end also unite with developing external and internal iliac veins. Then there is formation of two subcardinal veins, and there is an anastomosis between subcardinal veins and between right subcardinal vein and right hepatocardiac channel. Then there is development of two supracardinal veins, and furthermore there occurs an anastomosis between caudal ends of supracardinal vein and subcardinal veins. Now out of these many primitive veins and their communications, most of the channels and veins will disappear and only few will remain patent to form definitive inferior vena cava. Let's see in this diagram. So definitive inferior vena cava develops from 6 sources. You can see the numbers written. So number 1 is the portion of right posterior cardinal vein. Then number 2 is portion of right supracardinal vein. Number 3 is the anastomosis between right supracardinal vein and right subcardinal vein. Then number 4 is right subcardinal vein. Number 5 is the anastomotic channel between right subcardinal vein and right hepatocardiac channel. And number 6 is the primitive inferior vena cava or right hepatocardiac channel itself. So these are the 6 sources through which the definitive inferior vena cava develops. You can clearly make out. The communicating channel between right and left posterior cardinal vein, this anastomotic channel will form left common iliac vein. This portion of the posterior cardinal vein will form right common iliac vein, and as you know, they will anastomose or they will join with developing internal iliac and external iliac vein. So this is how the common iliac, internal iliac and external iliac veins will form, and remaining all the veins and anastomotic channels will disappear. The right hepatocardiac channel, as we have discussed initially, it opens into right horn of sinus venosus. As the right horn of sinus venosus itself will absorb and it will contribute in formation of right atrium, the opening of this right hepatocardiac channel will shift from right horn of sinus venosus to right atrium itself. So this is regarding development of inferior vena cava. Hope you have understood well. Thanks for watching.